That's exactly what they said, and that's exactly what is happening right now. You have, and I want you to appreciate where we are at on this and how significant this is. You have one family, the extreme right-wing Koch brothers. This family, worth about $85 billion, is going to be spending more money in this election cycle than either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. Now, when you have one family, the second wealthiest family in America, spending more money than either major political party, that does not sound like democracy to me. It sounds like oligarchy. I have not made many campaign promises during this campaign, but here's one I have made. And that is, any nominee of mine to the U.S. Supreme Court is, in fact, going to have to pass a litmus test. And that litmus test is that he or she will vote to overturn Citizens United. Overturning Citizens United is not enough. It's a start. It's a start, and I want you to all appreciate this. Right now, for most of the candidates out there, their super PACs will have more money than will the candidates' own funding, which means that in most cases, campaigns will be directly owned by the wealthiest people in this country. So not only do we have to overturn Citizens United, if we want a vibrant democracy where any person, any working person in this country, regardless of his or her political views, if they want to run for office, I want them to be able to run for office without begging money from the wealthy and the powerful. And that is why we need public funding of elections. I want our country to be a vibrant democracy where people are discussing and debating issues, where people are running for office, where we have one of the highest voter turnouts in the world, not one of the lowest. Let me say a word about education. We live in a highly competitive global economy. And if we are going to succeed economically as a nation, we need to have the best educated workforce in the world. And what is going on today is almost unimaginable. We have, as we speak right now, hundreds of thousands of bright, hardworking, capable, young men and women who want to get a higher education. They want to go to college, but they can't go to college because their families lack the money. Now that is wrong in two respects. If you have a low-income or a working-class kid who's doing well in school, who wants to make it into the middle class of this country, that young person should have that right to get the education he or she needs. We should not be pulling out the ladder under them as they struggle to live productive lives. But the second issue is that if we are going to do well internationally in the future, we have got to make sure that all of our people get all of the education they need. And that is why I have introduced legislation that would make every public college and university in America tuition free. Why that concept is so important. Do we have any teachers here in the room? And I think the teachers would concur with me in saying that we have kids in the 4th grade and the 6th grade. And these kids grow up in a family where mom and dad never went to college. Their friends' parents never went to college. Few people in their community ever went to college. And they believe that no matter how hard they work, they're never going to be able to make it to college, and maybe they won't even be able to graduate high school. And what I want all over this country is for kids in the 3rd grade and in the 5th grade to understand that if they work hard in school, they will be able to get a college education. My mother and my father never had a college education. Their 2 sons were able to do that. I want every kid in America who has the ability and the energy and the desire to have that right as well. But when we talk about the financing of higher education, there is another issue equally important, and that is we have millions of Americans, including some I'm sure in this room, who are carrying unconscionably high rates of student debt. Now what sense is it that people graduate college $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in debt and end up paying 20–25% of their income paying back that debt? These are people who can't get married and have kids, they can't buy a home, they can't buy a car. I have talked to doctors today whose crime in life was to go to medical school. Another young woman who went to dental school. She got out of dental school $400,000 in debt. And that is why my legislation will significantly lower interest rates on student debt. If you can refinance your home today at 2 or 3%, you should not be paying 9 or 10% interest rates on student debt. And furthermore, the United States government should not be profiteering, making billions in profit on student debt. Now, some people say, you know, Bernie, good idea, it's expensive. And they're right. What I just described to you will cost us about $70 billion a year. That's a lot of money. And you know how we're going to get that money? We're going to put a tax on Wall Street. When Wall Street collapsed, the American people bailed them out. Now it's their turn. There is another issue out there that it is absolutely imperative that we address, and that is understanding our responsibility as adults and parents. My wife Jane and I have 4 kids and 7 grandchildren, and I believe that we have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is habitable for our kids and our grandkids. Now, I understand that many Republicans don't believe that climate change is real. It is. And I would urge them to stop worrying about their campaign donors like the Koch brothers and Exxon Mobil and start worrying about the American people. What the scientific community has said is climate change is real, caused by human activity, and is already causing devastating problems in America. Take a look at California and water. Take a look at Pakistan and a heat wave. And what the scientists tell us is that if we do not take a short window of opportunity, this planet Earth could be between 5 degrees and 10 degrees warmer by the end of this century. And what that means is more droughts, more floods, more extreme weather disturbances, more rising sea levels, more acidification of the ocean. And what the CIA and the Department of Defense tell us is that when around the world people don't have enough water, when they don't have the kind of land they need to grow their crops, there will be an increased level of international conflict. We have the capabilities, we have the technology to lead the world in transforming our energy system. We have got to move away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency, wind, solar, geothermal, and other sustainable. And I do understand, speaking here in Texas, a fossil fuel state, that there are people who are worried about their jobs, and that's a legitimate concern. And any serious climate change legislation has got to be clear that we are going to protect those workers who lose their jobs. The United States of America, as I hope many of you know, and I know you do, is the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care to all people as a right. The Affordable Care Act, which I supported and got some good provisions in, still leaves 35 million people without any health insurance and more who are underinsured with high deductibles and high copayments. In my view, the United States of America has got to join the rest of the industrialized world. We need a national health care program. We need a Medicare for all single-payer program. Now, what I have been involved in politics for more than a few years. And it doesn't bother me when corporate America with a big money interest attack me. I'm used to it. And in fact, as Franklin Delano Roosevelt said many, many years ago, I welcome their hatred because we are going to take them. You know, in politics is not very complicated. Basically, you have to decide which side are you on. Remember that song, Which Side Are You On? Well, I will stand with working people, and I'm prepared to take on the billionaire class. I don't mind when the big money interests attack me, but I'll tell you what I do mind. And I would hope that every person in this room shares this concern. In Texas, in Vermont, and all over this country, you have working people who are working longer hours for lower wages. You have people who do not have health insurance or have huge deductibles. You have people who cannot afford to send their kids to college or provide decent child care for their kids. And yet, those people are voting Republican, voting against their very own best interests. And we have got to reach out to those. We have got to go beyond our comfort zone. It's It is easy to talk to people who you agree with. It is harder to talk to people who differ with you on this or that issue. But I want you to do me a favor and ask your Republican friends and family members and co-workers, ask them whether they really think that they should be supporting a party which in Washington, and I'm the ranking member of the Budget Committee, so I know a little bit about this. That means the leader of the opposition, the Democrats on the Budget Committee. What the Republican budget did is made massive cuts to Medicare. It threw 27 million Americans off of health insurance. At a time when we want to make college more affordable, it cut Pell Grants by $90 billion over a 10-year period. At a time when families in your state and my state are struggling to put food on the table, they made massive cuts in nutrition programs. And to add insult to injury, they gave over $250 billion in tax breaks over a 10-year period to the wealthiest 0.2%. I would like you to go to your Republican friends and family members and ask them whether they think that makes sense, whether they think that that set of policies are people who want to cut Social Security, who want to cut Medicare, who want to cut Medicaid, who want to cut or destroy the Environmental Protection Agency, whether that makes sense for their kids and their parents. And that's why I'm here in Texas today, to say that we have got to take on that ideology. The reason that Republicans win is not complicated. What they have done for decades is try to divide us up. My guess is you have never seen a 30-second ad on Texas TV which says what the Republicans really believe, and that is, vote for me so I can give tax breaks to billionaires and cut your Social Security. But what they have done very cleverly for decades is divide us up, black against white, men against women, native-born against immigrants, straight against gay. And what we have got to understand is the way we beat them is that when they try to divide us, we come together. And when I talk about us coming together, this is among other things what I mean. My dad was born in Poland, came to this country at the age of 17. I am the son of an immigrant, and I know a little bit about immigrants' life. came to this country at 17, not a nickel in his pocket, couldn't speak a word of English. In my view, my strong view, we have got to fight for a path